All right, Shalom. Shalom, giving all praises, all glory, all honors unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash, double honors to the apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the hopeful elect out there, the brothers and sisters that believe. This is your brother, the priest, Desire One from GMS Atlanta, back with another edifying video. And if the so-called white man says it, then you'll believe it. If the so-called white man says it, then you ninjas will believe it. So I'm going to play this clip. This was a video shared by a brother off of Instagram. So I'm going to play this clip, and this will be fair use. Just resharing the video. And I want you to listen what this so-called white person, right? Looks like an Edomite, right? I want you to listen to what he says, okay? Because I'm going to tell you like this, right? And this is for, of course, to the brothers and sisters, you know, that listen to me and the rest of the brothers at GMS. You know, I'm pretty much preaching to the choir right here. You know, you already know. If you know, you know, right? But to those that come across this video that are new to the faith, that don't believe, you know, a lot of these unbelievers come in our videos and they think the Israelites are crazy, right? Like I said in Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter. But hey, listen up. If the so-called white man says it, then you ninjas will believe it. Then you'll take it into consideration. Okay? So check this out.
But I say that I'm black. Does that mean I'm white? But I say that I'm black. Does that mean I'm black? If I can speak a language that you speak, but I'm not the same bloodline as you, can I claim to be that bloodline? If I come from Europe and my bloodline comes from Europe, can I say that I'm Jewish and then be from Africa? Can I call myself a Hebrew but not even descend from Afro-Asiatic descent? Was I born, was I raised, was my bloodline even from where Eden was? No, the fuck I can't. Because I am not what I am not. If my skin is white, I am not a Hebrew. I am not a Jew. I am a Gentile. I am European. So no, Ashkenazis are not Jews. They're German converts. I'm white, but I'm a Jew. No, you're not. You're white in the synagogue of Satan. The true Jews are Hebrews and dark skin from the Shem bloodline.
So you heard what he said. Now he did get a few things, you know, he got wrong that, of course, would take you having a deeper spiritual understanding. But you can be a so-called white person and be a Hebrew. All right. As a matter of fact, Jacob and Esau were born of Isaac and Rebekah, and Isaac was who? Isaac was the son of Abraham, also known as Abram the Hebrew, which you can read about in the book of Genesis. So Jacob and Esau are both Hebrews, but the chosen line to inherit the kingdom and the blessings and the covenant was descended from Jacob, all right? Esau is the progenitor of so-called white people. Jacob is a progenitor of the so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans, which make up the 12 tribes of Israel. So he said it, but to go deeper, right, there are not just so-called black, dark-skinned Hebrews, but you also have so-called pale or white Hebrews. All right? the Arabs over there in the Middle East, right? They are from the sons of Ishmael, which would make them Hebrews because Ishmael was a son of Abram, right? Abraham. The so-called Chinese, Japanese, the Koreans, okay, and certain of the other scattered Pacific islands, some of them, right? You have the tribes or the nation of Japhet, right, in Asia and the Pacific, but you also have the nation of Moab and the nation of Ammon, which Moab and Ammon was descended from Lot, okay, which was Abraham's nephew, from the brother of Abraham, which was also a Hebrew. So the Hebrews themselves, there's different nations of Hebrew. That's why we call ourselves Hebrew Israelites. We have Hebrew Edomites, Hebrew Moabites, Hebrew Ishmaelites, Hebrew Ammonites, and so forth. But he is correct. Okay, so I just wanted you to hear that part about the Israelites are the so-called black people and Hispanic Native Americans here in America. Okay, but he specifically referred to the so-called blacks here that came over here from West Africa in cargo slave ships, and their descendants today, right? We are the Israelites. Okay, so I'm gonna refresh this and play this again.
But I say that I'm black. Does that?
1 second.
If I am white, but I say that I'm black, does that mean I'm black? If I can speak a language that you speak, but I'm not the same bloodline as you, can I claim to be that bloodline? If I come from Europe and my bloodline comes from Europe, can I say that I'm Jewish and then be from Africa? Can I call myself a Hebrew, but not even descend from Afro-Asiatic descent? Was I born, was I raised, was my bloodline even from where Eden was? No, the fuck I can't. Because I am not what I am not. If my skin is white, I am not a Hebrew. I am not a Jew. I am a Gentile. I am European. So no, Ashkenazis are not Jews. They're German converts. I'm white, but I'm a Jew. No, you're not. You're white in the synagogue of Satan. The true Jews are Hebrews and dark skin from the Shem bloodline.
So you can't be a so-called white person and be a Hebrew. You can be a so-called white person and be an Israelite. But so-called white race do come from the nation of Edom, but there has been a lot of different mixing over time, you know, different genetics and so forth, where you're going to have black men, Israelite men, Hispanic men get with so-called fair skin, so-called white mothers, you know, women, and the child will come out with the characteristics physically of the mother, which would be lighter skin, straighter hair. And if that child gets with another so-called white woman, right? You know, there was a term called white passing. All right, look up that term, white passing. Okay, which a lot of them white passing peoples were Israelites. You know, you had a so-called black man laid with a white woman. You know, today we call them mixed, right? See, what you got to understand is being black, right? What Jake likes to call being black is not determined by your color, all right? Or I should say being an Israelite is not determined by your physical color. It's determined by your bloodline. So he mentioned about bloodline, yes. So if you come from the bloodline of the nation of Edom, you cannot be an Israelite. If you come from the bloodline of a European Edomite, you cannot be a so-called West African Igbo, right? Which goes, the word Igbo goes back to Hebrew. Okay, but I just wanted to clarify some of the points he made. But some stuff he got right, which is simple fact that the Israelites are dark skinned, are black. Okay? So people are waking up. People are finding out who the true people of the book are. The people of the Lord in the scriptures. All right? As a matter of fact, let me go to the book of Hosea, the first chapter. And I'll get this real quick. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 1, and verse 10. It says, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass," right? So this means this is a prophecy to be fulfilled, "that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people," but that place is here in the U.S., right? America. "There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power." So in America, we were told that we were black, we were Negroes, we were African Americans, so-called Mexicans, so-called Puerto Ricans, so-called Cubans, so-called Native Americans, and different derogatory terms, right? The N-word and so forth. But in the very same place there, it is also going to be said that you are the Israelites. So what we are seeing is a great awakening of the Israelites all over this country, all over the so-called nation, the U.S. And, the different Israelite groups that come out of One West have been on the street corner so long now, going on 20 years, we've been able to bring out so much information over 2+ decades, because you had men that came out of the school in New York been bringing out for way longer, that you really can't deny it. Now
90.
Of course you're going to have the tiny hat controlled media that is going to push the narrative that the Hebrew Israelites are an intolerant group. I'll say it like that, an intolerant group. But the proof is in the pudding. And now you have people that look like I just showed you. You're gonna have people that look
but I
like,
say that I'm black.
he looks
Does that
like
mean
a
I'm black?
so-called white man.
If I can speak a language that you but I say that
Right? So he looks like a so-called white man, but he could be an Israelite, right? Or he could be an Edomite. But what he's saying is true. Okay? You can't change your nationality. Okay? And like I said, it's not about color, it's about bloodline. So now I want to get one more thing. Now this is a video Apostle Hall put up last night. And what do we have again? Right? Another person that looks like a so-called white man. Listen to what he says. Okay? So bear with me one second.
All praises to Yahweh, Bashem, El Shai, Bashem, Rakakwadash, Shalom to the 144,000. And the rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, "Man Has Dream of the Time of Jacob's Trouble."
So I'm going to fast forward to when he starts speaking.
Of a nap is that what is about to shake out in this country is going to shake everything to the core. If you could take the Great Depression, the housing crisis of 2008, if you could take the race wars in racial division that took place in our country years ago, the political upheaval like never before, religious upheaval, religious nationalism.
Yeah, he's talking about Jacob's trouble. Okay? I just want to throw that out there, right? When you read Daniel 12:1, it speaks about a time, unlike any other time in history that is going to come upon the earth, that the Israelites would need to be delivered from. The Archangel Michael is going to have to intervene along with, Yahushua leading him and the other angels to literally save the Israelites out of trouble, out of these evil times. So he's just speaking on how nothing can compare to what's coming. All right? But he's going to say something else. Now, I believe I'm not sure, what group he's been watching, what videos, but you're going to hear what he says. And he definitely knows who the true Israelites are. Okay?
If you could take all this and put in a blender and run it out, that's what you're going to see really soon. It's being intentionally created. It's not accidental. Somebody didn't just wake up one day and be like, man, I don't know if I could ever present that. But I personally, this is the one moment that Luke will go on a personal belief and say that I believe some people are born evil. And the reason, because if they had 1,000 lifetimes, they'd still turn out the same way, no matter where they were born, who their parents was, what their lifestyle was, what they had to go through. The end result would be the same. It didn't matter if they were a beggar on the street or a rich person up in a mansion.
Yes. Yeah, so when you watch the video, he's speaking about pretty much the wicked that's ruling this earth behind the scenes, through the power of Satan. No matter what, they're born that way. And that's what the Heavenly Father said. The wicked go astray as soon as they be born speaking lies. So there is a such thing as predestination. There's no such thing as free will. Everything is already set up to happen before you're born. And that's in the scripture. So he's just speaking about how you have a wicked and there's a righteous. Okay? And the righteous are the elect of the Israelites. But I'm going to try to get to the point.
They'd still turn out inherently evil. So, the end would be the same. So, call that predestination, call that just quantum physics, call it whatever you want. It is what it is. Like, if I lived in the hood today, I still want to serve Most High Yah. If I lived in a mansion, I still want to serve Most High Yah. It's just what it is, right?
Yeah, he's been listening to some Israelite group. He's called in the Most High Yah. I believe he called the name of the son Yahushua. And that's close, but we know that the true names are Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. So like I said, bear with me. Let me get to the point. I was trying to see if I can scroll. And sometimes you can get a... let's see here. It's an AI generated video summary. Sometimes you can get a transcript and you can just go to what he actually said. So bear with me while I
right
find
now, I'm
it.
at the lowest point in my life. I'm unemployed. Mainline pastors will cleave to them people, and this country currently is not the United States of America. I believe it is completely. Thought, hey man, it's great. We're getting out of this. And I know this was a dream, but just bear with me. I'm gonna get the other dream in a second. And so once I had collected up everybody, I was like, this is the people I want protected and shielded, right? And it was extremely dark over New York whenever this dream.
BC to coming to the present, the present time.
Okay, hold on.
And my last commentation I would make on this is, and I'm going to actually make a further video about this to just break this down in the future, is that I feel like it is being orchestrated, the end time events, in advance of the end time events. Just
That the former One Westers know those prophetic scriptures, but
of the Vatican and Jesuits.
Looking like people of the other nations, not dressed.
People today scattered throughout the nations, and I gotta tell you, a lot of the nations have not been good to the so-called black man, the true Hebrew Israelites. I gotta tell you.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. So you heard it, but I'm going to go back. So listen up. Listen to this.
They were a people when they were in the land of Israel. They're a people today scattered throughout the nations. And I got to tell you, a lot of the nations have not been good to the so-called black man, the true Hebrew Israelites. So I got to tell you, there's going to be some receipts get cashed in if you're a racist, or as I prefer to call it, a melaninist, because races of human beings, in my opinion, didn't exist till 2019.
Hold on, let me go back so you can hear. Like I said, if the so-called white man says it, then you'll believe it.
They were a people when they were in the land of Israel. They're a people today scattered throughout the nations. And I got to tell you, a lot of the nations have not been good to the so-called black man, the true Hebrew Israelites. So I got to tell you.
Yeah, so the so-called black man here in America, brought over here on cargo slave ships, are the true Israelites. Okay? Along with the so-called Hispanics, Native Americans. You see that those are the only people that are being persecuted, speaking of Jacob's trouble, the only people that are being persecuted and in trouble right now are the so-called Spanish-speaking peoples, the so-called Latin Americans, so-called Hispanics, which represent the northern kingdom of the Hebrew Israelites. And now you got these ICE agents and the National Guard are coming after you so-called blacks, which once again, you are the Hebrew Israelites. All 12 tribes are here in America going through Jacob's trouble, and it's going to escalate. So it's not just us on the street corner saying this. This word is going out all over the earth now. The truth is coming out. It can't be stopped. Even if you shut the internet down at this point, and these governments say you can have no more internet, it's too late. The truth is already out. So there's really nothing that the wicked, right, Esau can do. All right, these inherently evil people. There's nothing that they can do, but eventually be destroyed. Babylon the Great be destroyed. Then they go into captivity. And that'll be it. And then the Israelites, the true Israelites, as we're speaking about now, are going to be on top. So I just wanted to show these two videos. One brother, he shared the video of the guy speaking, and you heard it, okay? And then Apostle Har, I seen that he put a video up of another so-called white man speaking, and they both said, the same thing, that the so-called blacks, right, are the Israelites, right? Of the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, Levi, the southern kingdom of Judea, right? Not the tiny hats over there in the Middle East, right, in Palestine. So now you heard the so-called white man say it. So do you believe it? Anyway, with that, I'm going to close out. Hope this lesson was edifying. Shalom.